Thanks for listening to FYI Stillwater, where you will hear information about your local government you didn't know you need to know, straight from the source. Be sure to check out other news and information from the City of Stillwater at stillwater.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Hi, I'm Megan Pardue, Communications Coordinator, and I'll be your host today. Today we're going to talk a bit about the coronavirus as it pertains to the Stillwater community. There's a lot of information buzzing around right now, so we're going to discuss what all of this means for Stillwater and provide some insight on the city's decision-making. Today's guests are Assistant City Manager Paula Dennison and Human Resources Director Christy Looper. So here's some basic facts on the situation. At this time, the city has declared a state of emergency due to a confirmed case of coronavirus in Payne County. This emergency declaration includes the closure of many public venues and restrictions on restaurants to takeout and delivery only. In addition, some city facilities are closed and all city events and meetings are canceled. This declaration is in effect until April 5th, although it could be extended if necessary. The city is also encouraging the adherence to CDC guidelines regarding social distancing and sanitation. So, welcome, Paula and Christy.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Yes. Sorry it's under these circumstances, but Christy, this is your first time on the podcast, right?
That's correct.
So you're a whole new guest, and Paula obviously is a seasoned veteran over here.
Yeah, but I want to hear Christy's responses to some off-the-wall questions.
Okay.
I'll give one.
Oh,
what's
great.
What's your favorite animal?
My favorite animal is probably my puppy.
And the name?
Milo.
And the type?
Milo. He's a little pound puppy. So they think he's probably a Chihuahua Beagle, and he can be mean like a little Chihuahua, but he's like a snuggly little spinning around every time he sees you happy-go-lucky pup.
Yeah.
Does he shake? Does he do the Chihuahua shake?
No, he doesn't do that. But so it's funny, he doesn't have some of the nervous tics of like the Chihuahua, but he's got the protective, I think I'm a big dog Chihuahua.
Doesn't realize his size.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's a very playful little mess, and that's why I love him.
Oh, good. So, next question. Who is your favorite musical artist and why?
Wow, probably George Strait, just because that's classic country I grew up on, and he's one of those that never goes out of the style, and he has a song for every emotion you could ever be feeling.
Agreed.
Okay.
I have to agree on that one.
Very good.
And Paula, yours would be?
Oh my gosh, mine, when I did mine a while back, it's been a while since I had my music question. I've got a whole range of music that I love. I'm just a music lover. I've got everything from heavy metal, hard rock, hair band, country, gospel.
That's my Apple Music.
Blues, Americana, bluegrass, you know. And I've already got the music picked out that my husband will play at my funeral.
Wow.
That's a plan.
Yeah.
You are a planner.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to switch modes here a bit. So I would like you guys to tell me a bit about what led up to the actions the city has taken. I understand some difficult decisions have been made for the community.
Yes. So this is an interesting time that we're in right now. And because of the services that city government needs to maintain and is required to maintain, we have had to look out holistically at the entire community and make some of those hard decisions for the protection of our citizens, the employees that we have working, and just mainly just to keep Stillwater afloat, not just Stillwater government, but community of Stillwater afloat. And you mentioned the closings that have been made under the emergency declaration here. Those are very trying. Those are going to have some long-term economic impacts to those businesses and to the community as a whole and to the individuals who were employed there. So any of those actions was not taken lightly, and it was taken with the primary objective to keep us as safe as possible from the virus and its impacts on us.
Mm-hmm. And flexibility, it's so important during this time, especially whenever we know that, there's no set time frame. Like, we can set time frames all we want, but we can never really be sure. So
Right, yeah. When is it going to really hit here? If it does, nobody's got that crystal ball. If it does come, when is it going to end? Nobody's got that crystal ball either. And what will we be left with? Nobody knows. So it's sort of hang in there, support each other, be kind to each other. Christy and I all week have been, our mantra is give some grace, everybody, because everybody is going through this. We need to do it together and very positively. And we think that Stillwater community is one of those. They've always come together when there's been a situation. And this
Stillwater
is a situation.
strong.
Yes.
For sure. So you mentioned that the city is making some efforts. What are some internal efforts that we've made to combat the spread of the virus?
We have done a whole lot of small steps, and then we implemented yesterday probably our largest step. Our main priority is continuing our services to our citizens while maintaining a healthy employee base as well. We've done a lot of step up in our cleaning practices, our social distancing, canceling meetings, trainings. We're trying to conduct everything via phone, email to the extent possible. Yesterday, we actually implemented alternative staffing schedules. So what we're trying to do is look across our work groups, and if one person has an impact, we don't want that whole department, division, work crew to have to shut down because of the illness. So you'll see some of your city services potentially slow down in our response time, but we're still maintaining those core services. And one of the functions we've done is we've got alternating weeks of staffing so that our crews aren't all working in the same facility, touching the same doorknobs, break rooms, etc. We've got some distance in between week one of a crew, another crew in week two, so that we can really separate and potentially reduce any negative impact or full or complete disruption of services to those citizens.
Okay, so just to be clear, citizens are still receiving all core city services. We're just making adjustments to, combat how quickly something like this can spread. Okay, so what can Stillwater residents do to help this effort? I understand there are steps we can take during this time, and I mean, though they're small, they definitely, make a difference in our community and our economy.
There's a lot of different steps our citizens can do to help us right now. One is if a phone call or an email can get you an answer, please do that way. We're trying to limit visitors to City Hall to only those who must come in person for a reason. Understand that we're not shaking your hands if you do have an interaction with us right now, but really pay those bills online. Check our website, check our Facebook, our social media sites to see how you can help. Pay bills online, give us phones, drop us emails. All of our contact information is on the website. We're happy to direct you via email, phone, to get that assistance that you need in still a timely manner.
And city council meetings. You can even, we're moving to an online format, and city council meetings are available on Facebook Live, YouTube. We have it on multiple TV channels. So definitely you can still access us. It's just a different format.
Yes, it is. And I think mentioning the city council meetings, the one we had this week, even, very interesting because the chairs in the meeting room are distanced now. So there's that social distancing and that separation.
It looked kind of funny on the cameras.
It
did. So anybody that has watched the council meetings before, all of the councilors and the mayor sit up at the horseshoe, as does the city attorney and the city clerk, and the city manager. So this week, it was just the councilors sitting up there, and there was a seat in between them. So they're even spread out around the horseshoe. Manager, attorney, and clerk were not sitting up there with them. They were sitting separately. Don't know if that's going to continue. Probably will. But that's, even we are aware of those type of things. And in addition to what Christy was saying, if you need to pay some other sort of bill, not your utility bill that can be paid online, but there's other charges that you owe to the city for whatever reason. It could be a rezoning request or some building permit. You can call in to the city and we can take your payment information over the phone. So just like she said, online, over the phone, can't take stuff email, don't want you emailing us your credit card information, but there are the resources. So please reach out to us. Follow the CDC guidelines. If you do have to come to City Hall, be aware that we may not take money from you. We may ask that you put it into an envelope and then either stick it in a drop box or hand the envelope to us, because that money, who knows how many people, how many hands that's been through. If you know us and we're friends, we're not going to run up and hug you when we see you. And that's very difficult for many of us because we have great relationships with our customers throughout the city. And not just from a professional standpoint, but we've got a lot of friends who are our customers. And that's hard to do because you want to pat them on the shoulder or hug them, or, if they've got egg or bread or mustard or something on their cheek, you want to wipe it off for them. And, you just can't do that
of
right
course.
now.
You got to love from a distance.
Yeah, you do. So these times are different. But we do encourage everybody, be cautious, be aware, take care of yourself, but also let others take care of themselves, and then you help take care of them as well.
Be mindful of others.
Yes.
More important now than ever.
Yes.
And Paula mentioned a great point about the drop box. There is a drop box right out front of City Hall as well as in the parking lot for a drive-through. So if you do have something that you need to drop off at City Hall, you can utilize those drop boxes and remove yourself from the contact of touching our facility.
Okay, great information. So what about local business? How can we continue to support Stillwater's economy by loving from a distance?
I'm a foodie.
Yes, you are.
I am. So I am utilizing those delivery services and those drive-thrus and those takeouts. We're looking at what we do with the food when we get home. We're a little bit more cautious of unpack our food and then wash our hands before we eat. But I love food. And so even during these times, there are ways for us to help our local community businesses by eating.
Yeah, and I think a piece on that was unusual for the city here just this week. One of the city employees came in and said, I cannot find whatever she was looking for anywhere. So we called a family member here in town who has the resources, the time that they can run errands, and they ran errands. We had a list that we gave to that one person, and that one individual ran those errands, brought everything in, dropped it off, and said, here, take whatever you need, and then that person was gone. So, even that, if you've got somebody that you can utilize and you need something, go get it or have them go get it, and maybe your next door neighbor has a need also. So
check in with others and see if you can be that person for them.
Absolutely. And it worked beautifully, I thought.
It did, and we got cookies.
You suggested.
That was one of my essential provisions that I requested.
Provisional supplies.
Yeah.
They were absolutely necessary.
I've seen a great announcement on Facebook that it says something along the lines of all of our youth sports and groups who have requested our local businesses in the form of donations for raffle tickets or fundraisers, etc. The time is now for us to return their support. And that's the form of...
I love that.
Look at who has given to our community in sponsorships and giving free items for raffles for sports teams and schools. Now's the time for us to repay their generosity with our generosity. We can shop gift cards for our local businesses and our takeout restaurants and the to-go orders. But it's a perfect example of a return of the favors.
And
go ahead.
Visit Stillwater, if I understand correctly, has a list of all of those businesses that can do takeout or delivery. Drive-through, that's pretty easy. We all know where the drive-thrus are, but go to the Visit Stillwater website and utilize that.
Chamber too.
And the Chamber
has
does
one
too?
going
Okay,
as well.
great, good. So visit both of those sites and then just support the businesses because they're your neighbors, they're your friends, they're your family members, and they are what helps keep this community going and able to recover when all of this is over.
Of course, and remember that, a lot of businesses are actually modifying their operations to accommodate this situation. So, if there's a business you were thinking, oh, they don't have a drive-through, so I guess I can't eat there. A lot of businesses are still doing takeout, so you can actually still walk inside as long as you're not dining in.
Yeah.
So just keep in mind, you might go check those websites at Visit Stillwater and the Chamber and, see what's going on.
Yeah, we heard from one business here in town that somebody here at the office had frequented before and then was just there yesterday, and they were being asked, so how's your business doing? And they're like, we're actually staying as busy as if our dining area was open.
That's great, too.
So
We got
that's
lots
so
of foodies.
encouraging.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so keep it up. We encourage everybody.
Absolutely.
And not just the restaurants. There's so many other businesses. If you're a seamstress, then, you know, maybe you can call the fabric store and tell them what you want, or go online and see if
You
they
know, we
have
love
what you
online
want.
shopping.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've heard of several that they may not have a gift card proper, but they're willing to sell gift certificates on paper redemption. You know,
Oh, good.
Old school right now. So you can still support some of those who may not have that huge online automated presence.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I do have one last big question. All of this is actually occurring while one of the most important events in every 10 years takes place. How is this affecting the 2020 census, Paula?
Oh, wow. Yeah, big question. So, fortunately or unfortunately, we're not the only community that is dealing with this right now at this time. Everybody is looking at this. I was just on a conference call yesterday through the Town and Gown Association, and those are city university cooperatives. So, of course, us with Oklahoma State, we're a member of that. And everybody is suffering the same thing. Everybody's got different ways that they're reaching out and they're handling it. I'm in about every other day contact with the Oklahoma representative from the Census Bureau. And they are working out ways. They have right now delayed some of their on-the-ground efforts, put it off for about 2 weeks. They have extended not the April 1st deadline for everybody to fill out their form and submit it, but they have extended the follow-up on the ground count by the census workers through July 31st.
Wow.
It was about the end of May, 1st of June-ish. So now they've extended that. So the Census Bureau is looking at it from a nationwide standpoint and what can they do. Looking at it here, we have some information. Everybody will get, every residential address will get the mail. If you've not already, you will. We just got ours day before yesterday. So you'll get that in the mail. It has that My 2020 Census or My Census 2020. I can't remember exactly what the URL is, but it'll have that. You go on there, you type in your code that's provided on that mailer that you have, and you answer the questions. So that URL, the Census Bureau now is asking communities and universities to put that URL on their webpage so that you can go right to it, and it has a spot. If you do not have your code, click here. I had my code, so I don't know where it takes you, but there is the opportunity for, if you hadn't got that mailer yet, or you're a student and now you're at home because OSU has gone to online classes the rest of the semester. If you're at home, then you're keeping up with what's happening in Stillwater. You can still count yourself in Stillwater because you have physically lived here the majority of, let's just count the school year. You've lived here, and this is where you need to count. So we're going to be getting that out. I know you and your team are working on that. We're going to be getting that out. We have actually asked Oklahoma State to put it out either on their website or in an email from the president or higher up to the student body. So we're hoping that that will help get the word out too. And just watch social media. We've gotten now, you've done a great job, Megan, with getting us ads on Facebook. It is a miracle, I think, that you were able to do that.
So happy about that one. I came to Paula's office the other day like, guess what? I was so excited.
Facebook has been tricky for us lately with all of the recent links, trying with the CDC information and everything too.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you listening at home, if you're bored at home and you haven't completed your census yet, that URL that Paula mentioned earlier was my2020census.gov. So be sure to go there. And I think the other day I heard Elisa said it only took her less than 5 minutes to complete her 2020 census.
Yeah, and they do ask every set of questions. They ask about your house, your home. Do you own or rent? You know, that type of thing. And then if you have a mortgage or you own it outright a number of questions about your home, and then they ask about the people living in your home. They don't have to be your family member for you to count them. So they ask about each one, and they have the same set of questions for each person that's living in your home. One of the questions, I've had folks come up to me and say, how am I supposed to answer this? Because it is the race question, the white, Hispanic, African American, Pacific, Asian, Pacific Islander, Asian, all of that. But then it has a box beneath it that it wants you to put your descent. Are you German? Are you English?
Oh, wow.
Are you Scottish? Are you Italian? Irish, yeah. So, folks are saying, do I put American? Well, if you know
Sounds
your
like
ancestry,
you need some 23andMe or something right now,
exactly,
right?
yeah. If you know your ancestry, put that in there. If you don't, then give us a call, and we can certainly follow up with the Census Bureau and help advise folks on what they should respond in that regard.
Definitely, and I'll add to that just because the Stillwater Public Library is closed to the public right now doesn't mean you can't call. So they definitely are still taking questions on the census, and they have people on standby. So if you're a student at home, or you just have any questions or concerns following your 2020 census, make sure and call them.
Yes, and Chris Redding with Payne County, he reached out yesterday and asked if we wanted to provide some assistance at the county courthouse for people coming in and out now that it's getting closer to April 1st to help them, any of the librarians or folks trained with the assistants, if they just wanted to come and help out at the courthouse too. So there's opportunities still around there. We still encourage that social distancing and making sure you sanitize your hands and surfaces that you touch and everything. But this is such a critical piece of our government, our economy, our social assistance, the education component that we have. We hit upon all of those here in Stillwater, so we need to make sure that we are accurately and completely counted.
Absolutely, and just like we were talking earlier, gift cards, takeout, ways to support the community. This right here is a way to support the community in less than 5 minutes. So
yes, it is.
Be sure and complete it. So thank you guys for coming. We definitely will have you back soon. We definitely have all of this information on our website at stillwater.org. Look for the red banner. We update this one news page at stillwater.org with a bunch of coronavirus information as it pertains to the Stillwater community. So if you're ever curious, if you ever want to fact check a rumor, go there. It's a great resource, as well as the CDC and the Oklahoma State Department of Health. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
If you're listening and you're a local business owner within Stillwater who's been impacted by COVID-19, there's options out there for you. Go fill out a damage assessment form at damage.ok.gov, and you could make Oklahoma eligible for federal disaster loans. Thanks for listening to FYI Stillwater. If this is your first listen, we have a lot of other episodes with city insights you might want to check out. You can look us up on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you like this episode of FYI Stillwater, leave us a like and a comment. Be sure to share us with your friends and stay tuned for our next podcast.
If you have a question for City Hall, email news@stillwater.org, and in the next podcast, we'll answer a few of them. FYI Stillwater is available on our website at stillwater.org, Spotify, and just about anywhere else you enjoy your podcast.